Long ago, in a realm bathed in golden sunlight and endless prosperity, there lived a deeply powerful monarch named King Alden. The king descended from the ancient Silver Crown dynasty, a long and proud lineage of fierce warlords who had centuries ago laid down their heavy swords to unite the fractured valleys into a single peaceful kingdom. Because of his ancestors' tireless toil, King Alden had everything a mortal man could desire. A grand fortress carved from white mountain stone, treasuries overflowing with ancient gold, and vast agricultural fields as vibrant as cut emeralds. Yet the king's greatest pride lay not in his boundless wealth, but in his 3 elegant, fully grown daughters. One crisp autumn afternoon, the king, feeling the creeping chill of his advancing years, summoned the 3 women before him. As he looked upon his vast hall, he harbored a deep, sudden need to hear his children declare the absolute depth of their devotion to him. First, the king turned to his eldest daughter, Seraphina. Seraphina was a tall, strikingly mature woman with an imposing posture and hair as dark as a raven's wing. She drew her roots from her late mother's aristocratic northern family, a harsh and proud lineage known for their rigid etiquette, military precision, and love of opulence.
Seraphina, tell me, how much do you love me?
Oh, Father, I love you more than all the gold hidden within your deepest vaults.
Wonderful. A love as precious and enduring as gold.
Next, he looked to his second daughter, Gwendolyn. She was a woman of serene grace, her eyes mirroring the vibrant canopy of a summer forest. Gwendolyn had been fostered in her youth among the artistic southern courts, a vibrant family of diplomats, poets, and the brightest minds of the era. This upbringing gave her a polished, radiant charm.
And you, Gwendolyn, how much do you love me?
I love you more than the sun in the sky.
Beautiful! Love as radiant, bright, and warm as the sun itself.
Finally, the king turned to his youngest daughter, Amelia. Though he loved them all, Amelia was his secret favorite. She was a grounded, profoundly mature woman with simple brown hair and eyes that were strikingly clear, radiating honesty and deep empathy. Unlike her sisters, Amelia had spent her formative years among the common folk and the earth tenders of the eastern valleys, drawing her roots from her grandmother's humble agricultural family. Because of this, she valued plain truth over grand theatrics.
And you, my dearest Amelia, how much do you love me?
Father, I love you as much as fresh meat loves salt.
The warmth vanished from the great hall in an instant. The attending courtiers froze in their tracks, and a heavy, suffocating silence descended upon the throne room.
What? What did you say?
I love you as much as fresh meat loves salt. It is a plain and simple truth, Father. Life would have no flavor, no sustenance without it.
Beside her, Seraphina and Gwendolyn quickly raised their hands to their faces, concealing cruel, mocking smiles.
Salt! You compare your love for a great king to salt? A common rock! Your sisters offer me the majesty of gold and the life-giving sun, and you offer me dirt from the earth? A cheap, worthless seasoning meant for peasants?
But Father, you do not understand. Salt is essential. It sustains life.
I understand enough! If your love is as common and worthless as salt, then you are worthless to me. And if this rock is so utterly plain and unimportant, we shall prove it to the world. We will live without it entirely.
Driven by a terrible blind fury, the king issued 2 devastating decrees.
First, I banish you from my sight. Leave my castle and my lands, and never return until you comprehend the depth of the insult you have dealt me today.
Heartbroken and weeping silently, Princess Amelia was cast out into the harsh wilderness, allowed to wear nothing but the simple, unadorned dress upon her back.
Second, I banish all salt from this kingdom.
Guards, men conscripted from the stony northern mountains, where absolute obedience to the crown was valued above all else, emptied the royal storehouses and the town markets without single question.
We shall see how we fare without this precious salt.
For the first few days, the kingdom seemed completely unchanged. The sun still rose, the merchants still traded their silks, and the king sat upon his throne, feeling entirely justified in his anger. But the grim reality of his decree soon crept into the castle walls. It began in the royal kitchens. The master baker, descended from the legendary wheat barons of the Western Plains who had mastered the art of grain for generations, attempted to prepare the king's morning bread. He carefully mixed the finest milled flour, pure spring water, and fresh yeast. But without salt to temper the yeast and strengthen the dough, the delicate chemistry failed. The bread emerged from the brick ovens as a flat, heavy, pale stone. When the king took a bite, it was pasty and tasteless. He pushed his golden plate away in disgust. By evening, the royal chef prepared a grand banquet. The chef hailed from a long line of culinary artisans born in the distant spice isles, men and women trained in the highest arts of flavor. He roasted the finest cuts of venison and simmered rich, elaborate stews, but without salt to extract the natural juices and elevate the raw ingredients, the results were disastrous. The meat was impossibly bland and tough to chew. The stews were watery and dull. The crisp vegetables tasted of wet, decaying paper.
More spices! More herbs! Bring the sweet honey!
They aggressively seasoned the meals with imported black peppercorns and rare eastern spices, but it was entirely in vain. Without the humble foundation of salt, everything tasted profoundly wrong. Soon, the disaster spread beyond the castle. The grand herds of cattle, deprived of the salt licks they desperately needed to survive, grew weak and sickly in the fields. Their milk thinned into water, and the kingdom's famous cheeses refused to cure, rotting on the cellar shelves. The people, forced to consume joyless, flat meals day after day, began to change. Their physical energy waned. The vibrant, joyful hum of the town square faded into a listless, tired silence. The king sat at his grand dining table, surrounded by beautiful but entirely inedible feasts, and he grew frail and profoundly sad.
Far from the decaying castle, Princess Amelia had wandered deep into the ancient, overgrown woods. Exhausted, hungry, and alone, she eventually stumbled upon a small, humble cottage with a thatched roof. It belonged to a kind old woman, the very last descendant of the ancient grove keepers. The old woman took one look at the weary, elegant stranger and immediately opened her door.
There, child, do not worry now. Everything is going to be all right.
In that quiet cottage, Amelia's new life began. Stripped of her royal privileges and titles, she learned the profound, honest value of the earth. The old woman taught her how to respectfully tend the soil, coaxing life from the dirt to grow healing herbs and hardy vegetables. Amelia learned to craft hearty stews and bake rustic, crusty bread over a simple, open flame. And it was here that the old woman taught her the most important secret of all, the sheer magic of a single tiny pinch of salt. Amelia saw firsthand how that humble mineral could make a plain root vegetable taste wonderful and a simple bone broth taste rich and complex. Years passed, and the harsh labor allowed Amelia to grow from a grieving princess into a remarkably strong, wise, and capable woman. One crisp afternoon, a traveling merchant stopped at the cottage to rest his weary horses. As he drank fresh water from their well, he spoke of the dying kingdom to the west.
A sick, weak king who sits completely alone in his castle, starving in the middle of a grand feast.
Amelia's heart ached terribly. She knew exactly what plagued the land, and she knew that despite his past cruelty, she still deeply loved her father. She had to help him. Amelia disguised herself. She donned the heavy, unadorned woolen clothes of a traveling common cook and tucked her long, beautiful brown hair beneath a wide, plain cap. Bound tightly to her leather belt was a single, tightly woven cloth bag, heavy with something white and infinitely precious. When she arrived at the grand castle, she found the court in a state of quiet, starving despair. The king had offered a massive reward of gold to anyone who could make him taste joy again. The great hall was lined with long wooden tables piled high with beautiful, entirely tasteless food. The king sat at the head of the room, a pale shadow of his former self, staring at his golden plate with hollow, lifeless eyes.
I will cook for the king tonight.
The defeated, exhausted royal chefs simply shrugged their shoulders and stepped aside. Amelia did not attempt to make a grand, complicated roast. Instead, she prepared a simple, beautiful stew, utilizing the fresh, earthy vegetables she had learned to master out in the woods. She cooked with immense skill, patience, and deep love. But it was as the meal finally finished simmering, she deliberately omitted one vital ingredient. She did not add a single grain of salt. She poured the steaming, fragrant stew into a royal golden bowl and carried it out to the king herself. The king, smelling the incredible aroma, eagerly lifted a silver spoon to his dry lips.
It is all worthless.
At that exact moment, the disguised cook stepped forward out of the shadows.
Your Majesty, perhaps the stew is not worthless. Perhaps it is merely incomplete.
The king looked up, his brow furrowed in confusion. Amelia reached to the small cloth bag tied at her belt. With remarkably steady hands, she retrieved a tiny wooden shaker filled with precious white grains. Leaning gracefully over the golden bowl, she sprinkled a delicate dusting over the steaming broth.
What is that?
It is only salt, Your Majesty. Please, try it again.
Hesitantly, the king picked up his discarded spoon. He stirred the broth, watching the grains dissolve, and slowly lifted the liquid to his lips once more. As he tasted the stew, his eyes shot wide open. The rich, deep, savory flavors exploded across his palate. The earthy sweetness of the carrots sang perfectly against the hearty, thick broth. It was vibrant, it was beautifully alive. The king began to weep openly, not with sorrow, but with a profound, overwhelming joy he had not felt in years. And as he eagerly ate spoonful after spoonful, his physical strength miraculously began to return to his limbs.
This little thing. This is absolute magic. It is more wonderful than the sun. It is everything.
And in that moment of absolute blinding clarity, the memory struck him like lightning. The exact words spoken in that very room years ago echoed perfectly in his mind. I love you as much as fresh meat loves salt. He stopped eating. He slowly looked up at the mysterious, humble cook standing before him, his eyes wide with sudden, breathless realization.
Amelia! My child, my dearest daughter, can you ever forgive me? You told me the absolute truth, and in my blind pride I threw you away. I threw away the most precious thing in my entire kingdom, your love, and the salt that binds it all together.
Amelia knelt gracefully to the stone floor and wrapped her strong arms tightly around her weeping father's shoulders.
I forgive you, Father. Completely.
The king immediately issued a joyous, roaring decree that echoed through the valleys.
Bring the salt back to the kingdom!
And as the precious mineral was returned to the land, a wonderful miracle occurred. A golden wave of vibrant life swept outward from the castle walls to the farthest, most distant fields. In the bakeries, the bread rose high and proud, the warm scent of crusty, perfect loaves drifting wonderfully through the city streets. In the pastures, the cattle eagerly licked the fresh salt blocks, their strength and vitality returning instantly. The grass regained its lush, vibrant emerald green, and the people, tasting true flavor for the first time in years, flooded the streets with beautiful music and joyous laughter. Seraphina and Gwendolyn, deeply humbled by the immense weight of their younger sister's wisdom, begged for true forgiveness. Amelia, possessing a heart full of boundless kindness and grace, forgave them both without hesitation. From that glorious day forward, the kingdom experienced a golden age of peace and prosperity. The king ruled for many long, joyous years, with his youngest and wisest daughter continually advising by his side. They lived in profound happiness, forever holding on to the beautiful truth that the simplest things in life, a humble grain of earth, a sincere heart, and an honest word, are always the most magical treasures of all.